And welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are talking Bernie Ecclestone throwing shade at Lewis Hamilton, pretty much saying, well, Lewis, you're not going to last 2 years at Ferrari. Does he have a point? Let's look at the reasons why. And do we agree with him, or just are we going to tell him to go away? So this is the article on racefans.net. Hamilton won't last 2 years at Ferrari, and that's at least the prediction of a certain Bernard Ecclestone. So Bernie Ecclestone, who is he? Well, I don't think he needs much of an introduction, but if you're not sure, he is the former Formula One CEO. Basically, he did the role of what Liberty Media are doing now, but he was basically just one person in charge. He had people obviously working for him, but there we go. And he's taken another swipe, the article starts off with. And he's taken many swipes, let's be honest, at F1's most statistically successful driver, Lewis Hamilton. And he's predicting his high-profile move to Ferrari is going to end in tears. So Hamilton, as we know, he began testing for the Scuderia last month. And then he had that whoops-a-daisy crash, didn't he, as well? But in the Telegraph, he said he won't last long. Here it is here. I'll zoom in a bit. And that's what Bernie Ecclestone said in the Telegraph. Harsh for some, I guess. Piero Ferrari, he said, who has taken him there, still thinks they've done the right thing. As do many people. He said, I hope they have, which is nice. I hope they haven't just jumped in and end up wishing they hadn't. Now, Ecclestone claimed that Lewis Hamilton is going to play second fiddle to Charles Leclerc, his new teammate who has raced for Ferrari since 2019. He may well. That's one of the exciting things that we need to, that everyone is going to be talking about for 2025. Ecclestone went on to say, I don't think Lewis will get the same attention at Ferrari. Firstly, he says the team are happy with Charles Leclerc, his teammate. Leclerc speaks their language, so they'll be looking after him. Yes, absolutely they're happy. But how happy are they? Why then would they need a Lewis Hamilton? Is it a just-in-case basis? Charles Leclerc, one of the best drivers on the grid. No Max Verstappen at the moment, though. He's shown he's very fast. He makes mistakes. And unlike Carlos Sainz, Sainz's biggest strength was one of Leclerc's biggest weaknesses in terms of dealing with Ferrari strategy on that pit radio, where Charles Leclerc would just almost go along with them most of the time. And Sainz was like, no, that strategy sounds very silly. It's a no from me. But Charles quite often will go, no, okay, cool, yeah, I will. Of late, he's maybe been a bit of a pushback, but that is still, I think, a weakness in Charles Leclerc. Anyway, Bernie Ecclestone has come and said, even if Lewis does well, there's still there'll still be a lot of enemies because he has suddenly arrived. Now, that I don't understand. What do you mean enemies? Ferrari clearly want him. Yes, it was sad that Carlos Sainz had to go, but I think most people understand why Lewis Hamilton went to Ferrari. Carlos Sainz himself said, had it not been for any other driver other than Lewis, he'd have always been broken-hearted. And Hamilton, he is turning 40. He's turned 40 in the off-season, and he's raced continuously in F1 since making his debut all the way back in 2007. And Ecclestone believes this will have an effect on his motivation. Okay. He said, I have my theory about this. It's not the age with drivers. It's how long they've been doing the same thing. I don't know so much. How long was, Bernie Ecclestone was doing the same thing quite a while. Yes, I appreciate it's slightly different to drivers. He said, I've thought with Lewis, he's getting tired. He's lost motivation. If he had never won a world championship, it might be different. I guess if he had never won a world championship, he might not be here where he is now at Ferrari, but there we go. And he said, because then there'd be an incentive to win one, but he has won 7. So the 94-year-old who was replaced 8 years ago, clashed repeatedly with Hamilton in recent years. Ecclestone's 2020 claim, saying black people are more racist than white people are, was described by Hamilton as ignorant and an uneducated comment. And I think things like that, you just don't talk about that in, no. Bernie. Ecclestone came to the defence of his former driver Nelson Piquet after he used a racist term while referring to Lewis Hamilton. That's how it all started. He later made comments about the 08 season, which prompted Massa to bring this court case. But luckily, we're not talking about that. Hamilton's attire and interest in music drew further criticism from Ecclestone in his latest interview. He said Lewis gets himself up front in a way where you can dislike him. In terms of that, yes, a lot of people can say you either love or dislike Lewis Hamilton. I kind of get that. And some of the things he says does trigger people that dislike him. But then you could say the same for Max Verstappen. You've got an opinion on Max. I don't think anything Max is going to do now, just like Lewis, is going to change the way you feel about him. As a lot with other drivers. They've been around enough times now that most people have made their mind up whether they like him or not. Ergo, you have the Verstappen versus Lewis on the extreme ends of social media, which you really want to avoid. And Ecclestone went on to say how a guy who has won a few world titles and has a few dollars in the bank can dress the way he dresses. I'm not a fan of that. Okay, thanks. But I mean, I don't think we'll be getting advice from Mr. Ecclestone. But I just thought, what a weird thing to say. Yes, I imagine he said it for sound bites, or maybe he was encouraged by the journalist from the Telegraph who was interviewing him for sound bites, but it just was a bit weird. And he goes on to say he has a lot of talent as a driver, as much as people credit him with. He said no, but still enough to win races. I don't know why he does all this other nonsense. I mean, he does a lot of good, I think. He said he needs to get out of the music business. And whatever else. Why? Well, I mean, why would you even talk about need to get out of the music business? Oh, Bernie. So I think overall, I think the only point he made is he could struggle against Leclerc potentially, but we don't know that. So there we go. It was just, as some people may say, as pointless as this video is, I just wanted to not really stick up for Lewis Hamilton. It's more to the case of, yeah, thanks, Bernie. On your way. Thank you very much. See you later. Shh. Well, there we go. So, if you made it to the end, as usual, subscribe. If you are not subscribed, that will be absolutely amazing. If you are already subscribed, hit that like button. It does make a difference. Really appreciate it. But, ultimately, the fact that you clicked on this video and made it all this way to this little bit is absolutely amazing. So, thank you very much. We'll speak to you soon. And stay safe.